Come on. Hello, dear listener. Before we get into today's show, quick ask. If you find value in today's show or you've gotten value out of a previous show, please leave us a quick 5-star review. Be super grateful. Thanks a lot. Welcome to Money Savage, a savage approach to personal finance. This is George Grumbacher, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, a strong and powerful Dylan Ogline. Dylan, are you ready to do this?
I'm ready, man. I'm pumped. Let's do it.
Let's do this. Dylan is the founder of Ogline Digital. He's helping people start and grow their own hyper-profitable digital marketing agencies. I'm excited to have you on. Dylan, tell us a little bit about your personal life, some more about your work, and why you do what you do.
Sure. That's a loaded question right there.
Go.
So, you mentioned it. I own a digital marketing agency called Ogline Digital, and basically we help people, we help businesses with direct response digital marketing solutions, or in layman terms, we manage Facebook and Google ads for folks. I believe in being super focused, hyper-focused, ruthlessly cutting unnecessary stuff. So I don't have a lot going on like some folks do. I have my agency, which pretty much I built it so that I could live kind of that 4-hour work week lifestyle and travel the world, at least pre-COVID. And so I have that, and then I have an education company where I have a training program called Agency 2.0, where I teach folks how to start a digital marketing agency like the one I have. And that's the education company is where probably 90 to 95% of my focus are these days. Personal life, travel whenever we could back in the old days, pre-COVID. Spend time with my girlfriend and our 2 dogs and play hockey, and that's pretty much it. I like to keep things really simple and hyper-focused. Why do I do what I do? Which is a fantastic question. The agency is I enjoy. I too like marketing. I like business growth. I like helping businesses with their growth. But that's less to do with passion and more simply to do with it's a high profit margin business. The education company is much more a passion project, and that's simply kind of my way of giving back and being thankful for all the mentors and coaches and training that I've had to get me to where I am. So did I do that in under a minute? I think I did. That was pretty fast.
Well done. Well done.
Yes, thank you.
What position on the ice do your dogs play? You said you like playing hockey with your dogs.
I don't think so we live in Florida now. I don't think that they they don't like snow. So, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't handle it well.
They're like, what in the world? We're usually at the beach, and now there's all this freezing cold white stuff everywhere. Got it.
Yeah, they can't handle it. No way.
Not interested. All right. So being hyper-focused, ruthlessly cutting things out, doing only the essentials. How'd you figure that out?
That was it took 10 to 12 years of pain and suffering of doing the exact opposite for me to reach a breaking point. And then it was a conversation with a long-term mentor where I was at that breaking point, making very little, way too many projects going on at one time, bouncing around from one project to the next, chasing the shiniest object, getting absolutely nowhere, exhausted, not knowing what sleep was anymore, forgetting what the concept of a vacation was. It reached getting to that point. And then I had a conversation with a long-term mentor, and basically he was like, you need to get focused. You need to stop doing 20 different things. And if you chase, what is it? What's the saying? The man who chases too many or more than one rabbit catches none. There's a better way to put it. But that was basically the advice I got. And so I ruthlessly cut everything and just focused on one single thing. And it was an uphill route from there.
Was it a function of there's so many different things you're sort of interested in and wanting to pursue, and then you just recognize, okay, my mentor is right. I need to really figure out my one or two things that are super key to my success, and then only focus on those. That it can't necessarily have been just an easy thing to break that habit of doing lots.
Well, I think there's two factors. A lot of entrepreneurs always have ideas. Like I just could walk around my town and just constantly, I'm like, oh, that's an idea, or that's an idea. Or the other day I was like, I think I could create like a lawn care company and like use digital marketing and like have a really efficient system and everything. And you have to like kind of stop yourself and be you just be like, no, I can't do that. I gotta stop. So there's, that's so it wasn't necessarily passion that was passionate about all these different things. It was I always had all these new ideas. It was also a factor of desperation. When you are broke and you have nothing going, you kind of end up chasing the shiniest object, because you're like, if I could just get this thing to work, then I could focus on all these other things, and then I'd have 10 things that are working, but I can't really focus on one of them because I'm not making anything.
Right.
So that's the saying, it's cutting off your nose to spite your face. Like that's what it is. And I see a lot of business owners doing that. Was it easy to just cut everything? For me, it had reached that tipping point where I was so frustrated. I had spent over a decade of my life spinning my wheels, getting nowhere, so that when I metaphorically got slapped across the face and kind of woke up after this conversation with a mentor, that, it was relatively easy to just go down into my basement and get on my computer and just delete everything that wasn't making money, because I had reached that tipping point.
Got it. Nice. So we talked about how entrepreneurs are just sort of a lot of the time visionary idea people. They see opportunities all over the place, and it can become very distracting, and the time suck and everything else. I imagine in your world, when you're helping people to develop their business online, what sort of popped into my mind was strategy versus tactics. And I bet that a lot of people are just kind of victim to trying different tactics without ever really having a broader strategy.
I can agree to that. Yeah. I think what I have seen now that I have my education company, I'm working with folks who have zero experience in business, or maybe they've tried a few things here and there and it went nowhere. What I see is people want things to be complicated. Whether it's marketing or your product market fit or anything, they're looking for the advanced tactic, or like the cheat code to Facebook ads, or like what's the secret setting that I need to have in my Google ads to make them profitable, or something like that. And I tell people, like that stuff doesn't exist. Like, you just need to stick to the basics, keep things really fundamental and really simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. And that's it. Like when I'm teaching students, like, here's my business model. I have a 7-figure digital agency. I'm going to teach you how to start your own digital agency. Like, all the time I hear, there's no way it's that simple.
Right.
And like there has to be that secret setting in Google ads to make it profitable. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, you just need to keep things simple. And once people get the hang of it, and you just keep focusing on the same thing, you get better and better and better.
So how do you go about, and obviously you have an entire program that teaches people how to do this, but are there certain, like, I don't really have the right words for this. How do you structure that so that people get the right amount of knowledge in certain areas, and do they then pick the area they really want to focus on and go deep on, or how does the program work? So
with my program, I'm teaching people how to start an agency. So the kind of the game plan for them is I'm removing the paradox of choice. The really only thing that they kind of have to choose is a niche. You have to target a certain industry. You have to target certain needs in the market. Beyond that, I purposely remove a lot of the choice, and then I just repetitively encourage them to keep things lean, mean, and scrappy. Like when I'm telling people, like setting up their website as an example, getting your domain, just silly things like that are just the fundamentals. I'm like, I want you to do this tonight. Don't spend the next 3 weeks building out your website. Like, do this right now, tonight. Force yourself to just do it right now. And it's small things like that add up, because if you spend 3 weeks on your website and then you spend 3 weeks on building out a landing page and all these things, like a lot of time goes by, and you just want to constantly be moving at breakneck speed so that you break things and you're getting things out into the marketplace. So I think, like I said, removing the paradox of choice, removing options is the best thing that I have found as I can't believe I'm going to use this term, educator. As a coach, I'll use that. That's a little bit better. But removing the options so that people don't even think that there are options. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. The paradox of choice and just people's desire for complexity. I can definitely see that. People want to, for whatever reason. Apparently, we are wired in a way that we want that, when in fact that's not what's going to get us to where we want to go.
Yeah, certainly somebody who's smarter than me could tell you why we want that.
Right.
I have no idea, but it certainly was that case for me, and I see it all the time with other folks. Can't tell you why. I just see it.
So that then just allows people to, once they have the framework set up, you say, okay, listen up, you're going to get this done tonight. Here's how you do it. And then, for lack of a better term, you have your marching orders every day. You need to get up and do your job, and it's X, Y, and Z.
Yes. Yeah. And whether you're building an agency or building some other kind of business, I encourage people to follow kind of that same pattern of just ruthlessly cut things. You want to focus on getting your product market fit, getting something out there into the marketplace, and testing it as quickly as possible. So, like I talk about, like I had a 7-figure agency and I didn't even have a website. So you don't need to spend 6 months building your website. Like, I hate to tell you, it's not that important. I encourage you to have a website, depending on your product, your service, whatever. But like, that's an example of just how ridiculously simple you want to keep things. And it's truly just about proving that product market fit as quickly as possible. And then once you have that, focusing on marketing so that you can get growth. Like, you don't need a fancy business card. You don't need a fancy website and a nice logo. Like, that stuff isn't going to move the needle and make the cash register ring.
So I go through your course. I now am the owner of a digital marketing agency. Mm-hmm. What am I doing? Who am I approaching?
So like what's your niche?
Yes. Or just yes. And what am I doing for my end user?
Sure. So generally speaking, the service that my students are offering is very similar to what my agency offers, which is direct response digital marketing solutions, which in layman terms, you are managing, you're writing, say, Facebook ads or Google ads or both. You're building the landing page for the client, and you're selecting who to target, you're building out the ads, all that stuff. And then once the potential customer reaches that landing page and they fill out the form or they make a purchase, whatever, it's up to the client then to handle things from there. That's essentially what we're doing. What niche? Well, that's where the kind of choice comes in. What I recommend to people, the first thing is look at previous experience that you've had. What this is in regards to selecting your niche. How do you do that? Look at previous experience that you've had. Maybe you've worked with an accounting firm before as a, I don't know, just an office rep or something. Maybe your parents are dentists, so you can then target dentists. Maybe your family member, your brother or your cousin or just a friend works in the auto body repair industry. A niche that I targeted, which still do to this day, is plumbing and heating companies. I have no experience in plumbing and heating. I've never worked in that industry. I just simply have made friends with somebody who was in that industry, taught to them a little bit about their work, knew a little bit about the industry, and that was it. And then I was able to target plumbing and heating companies. And because I had just that little bit of industry knowledge, I could talk about what their true wants and desires are. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. Nice. Have some kind of affinity and a natural starting place to get started. A natural starting place to get started. That's I love it. And I have in my notes that you are I don't know if you're passionate or what the right term is, but that you are a practitioner of Stoicism.
Practitioner, I wouldn't go that far. I study Stoicism. I'm a student of Stoicism. Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So don't ask me to quote anything because I'm terrible at remembering specifics, terrible remembering names. But for me, what Stoicism has helped with is, I would summarize it with two main things. One is remembering mortality. I don't know how to say it properly because I'm not a Stoic, but memento mori is I think how it's pronounced, which is basically remembering that you will die. And that just motivates me on a day-to-day basis to kind of do the best that I can. And remember that, hey, your time is limited and tomorrow is not a guarantee, which I think is healthy for pretty much everybody to think that way. And the second thing is my takeaway is to kind of, when you're making decisions, don't base them off of emotion. Understand your emotions, realize that they are there, whether it's anger or fear or excitement or anything like that, or panic. Realize that those emotions are real, but just simply recognizing that the emotion is there and try to look at the decision that you're making, whether it's in business or personal, whatever, and just kind of look at it and be like, am I making this decision logically or emotionally? Simply just having that kind of filter or that fail stop has been very, very useful for me.
Yeah, in the same sort of vein that we like complexity as human beings, and if we have too many things on our plate that we're not going to be very effective, recognizing that the vast majority of the decisions that we make about everything, about money, and are really based on emotion. And once we become mindful of that and aware of it, then we can start to move towards more logical decision making. So I think that's such a valuable thing. So amen.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, Dylan, Savage Nation is ready for your difference making tip. What do you have for them?
So we talked about this pre-show. My my tip is to eat your veggies. No, I'm just kidding. I hope that stays in the show. No, my single difference making tip would be focus. Focus, no matter if it's on one product or one service. Realize that if you try to do 10 things in a day, you're not going to get anything done. But if you do one thing every day, you're probably going to be able to get that done. Just always think, am I being hyper-focused right now? That would be my difference-making tip.
Well, I think that is great stuff. That definitely gets come on. Even if your one thing is eating your vegetables, Dylan.
You got to get those. Got to get those greens in.
I love it. Well, Dylan, thank you so much for coming on. Where can Savage Nation learn more about you? How can people engage with you?
Absolutely. Dylan Ogline. My website's dylanogline.com. I do have a free ebook that I just put up. If you go to dylanogline.com/6, all spelled out, SIX. I do have a free ebook. And then on the Instagram, Facebooks, and LinkedIn at Dylan Ogline.
Love it. Well, Savage Nation, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, show Dylan your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Go to dylanogline.com. That's DYLANOGLINE.com. And then do the /6 and get a copy of the free ebook and find him on social media. I'll list all those in the notes of the show. Thanks again, Dylan.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And until next time, keep fighting the good fight. We are all in this together. Spending too much time on social? Is your daily screen time over 2 hours? Are you a little bit overweight? Not saving enough money? If any or all of these are familiar, Strive could be for you. The Strive 2-week online bootcamp will help you to detox your mind, body, and money, getting you on your way to a happier, healthier, wealthier, and more confident life. Go to strivedetox.com, STRIVEDETOX.com, and get your mind, body, and money right.